Former NBA star draws clear distinction between Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers. Former NBA player and 2025 All-Star Jeff Teague made a lot of waves with comments he made about Indiana Fever icon Caitlin Clark during a December 23 episode of the Club 520 podcast. Caitlin Clark would not score a point on Bronny James, bro, Teague said when asked who would win a one-on-one game between these two rookies. She might not even get a shot off, bro. Later on, Teague asserted that Bronny would beat Aja Wilson 20-0 if they were to play. Teague also said of Bronny and Clark, he would beat her by 60 points. He would legit beat her 20-0. LeBron James' other son and Bronny's younger brother, Bryce James, would beat her 20-0. He is 10 times more athletic than her. Teague continued when comparing Bronny and Clark. He can do everything better than her. She's a girl, bro. However, Teague wasn't so dismissive of Clark during the entire podcast. At another point, he drew a clear line between her abilities and that of UConn Huskies star Paige Bueckers. She got hurt. I think that kind of hurt her a little bit, Teague said of Bueckers. She was super cold before she got hurt. But now I think she's good, but I don't think she's Juju Watkins. And I don't think she's Caitlin. And at one point, I used to think she was better than Caitlin. A bit later on, Teague added, I just think Caitlin does a lot more with less. Since Teague didn't elaborate on that last comment, it's unclear what exactly he meant. But it seems to be a compliment. Caitlin would not score a point on Bronny. Jeff Teague says Bronny James would cook Caitlin Clark in a one-on-one game. It's amazing how debates and various takes on sports can come out of nowhere and stir the pot. Recently, former NBA player Jeff Teague ignited a lively discussion in an unconventional tone involving two record breakers, Bronny James and Caitlin Clark. This sounds like a straightforward narrative that can be dismissed as lighthearted banter, but if you compare their games side by side, one will come out on top. Wouldn't score a point. Clark has carved a name for herself from college, and it was no surprise that she was selected No.1 by the Indiana Fever, and she has continued to break records in the WNBA. Viewership skyrocketed, and ratings were high during her rookie season. On the court, the 2024 Rookie of the Year's long-range shooting, court vision, and ability to take over games drew comparisons to NBA greats like Steph Curry. However, Teague doesn't see her holding her own against James. Caitlin would not score a point on Bronny, bro, Teague said. She might not even get a chance. He would beat her 20-0, bro. The thought of this matchup may look too unconventional. Still, growing up, the Fever superstar regularly competed against boys and often outperformed them. Her father, Brent Clark, once joked that she was an MVP candidate on her youth teams, playing in mixed-gender leagues. She held her own just fine. But that's a totally different scenario, and we may never see this hypothetical matchup. The former NBA star may likely be painting the picture based on the levels of the game in the NBA and the WNBA. However, if a matchup were to occur physically, the NBA star would have an edge, standing at 6 feet 3 inches with an athletic frame that would allow him to guard multiple positions. On the other hand, the WNBA superstar's arsenal may be down to her basketball IQ and sharpshooting. A tough start. As the eldest son of NBA superstar LeBron James, the younger James was a standout at Sierra Canyon. But the transition from college to professional basketball wasn't an easy one. After being drafted in the second round by the Los Angeles Lakers, the USC product made history by sharing the court with his father during a preseason game, a first in the history of the NBA. However, when the dust settled, questions about his readiness for a pro career were asked. The 20-year-old was assigned to the G League's South Bay Lakers to further develop his game. The real question is why this comparison exists in the first place. CC's achievements should stand on their own without needing to be validated by hypothetical matchups against male players. Similarly, the younger James deserves the opportunity to grow and establish his own legacy without being constantly measured against his father or anyone else.